When Joffrey choked on poisoned wine, it triggered Tyrion's arrest, Tywin's murder, and Cersei's paranoia, tearing the kingdom apart. Because he was a cruel monster, his death is often viewed as an immediate victory for the people of Westeros. But the source material reveals a more complicated reality. At 13, Joffrey was still an insecure teenager who had not yet consolidated actual power. If he survives that fateful royal wedding feast, the entire sequence of events that dismantled the Lannister regime never happens. Ironically, his survival acts as a political anchor, preventing the internal collapse that eventually left the Iron Throne vulnerable and the realm in ruins. In the short term, Joffrey living keeps the peace because Tyrion is never arrested. Without a royal murder to investigate, there is no trial. This prevents Oberyn Martell from fighting the Mountain, effectively delaying war with Dorne for years. Most importantly, Tywin Lannister stays alive. He avoids assassination and remains in total, competent control of the government. Tywin's continued rule prevents the rise of the Faith militant, as Cersei never gains the authority to arm the Sparrows or make her own disastrous alliances. When Daenerys Targaryen eventually arrives, she wouldn't find a fractured kingdom. She would face a unified, fortified military force led by Tywin Lannister. On the surface, Joffrey's survival makes the Lannister dynasty appear geocritically unbeatable, holding the realm together under a single iron-fisted authority. But this stability hides a ticking time bomb. As Joffrey reaches adulthood, his insecurity turns into a deep resentment of Tywin's control over him. This chart compares Joffrey to the Mad King. Both were paranoid, but Joffrey begins his terror 10 years earlier. Tywin's demand for stability and Joffrey's need for fear create an inevitable collision. Eventually, the king stops taking advice. Margaery Tyrell would be caught in the center of this rot, trapped in a political nightmare as the boy she once manipulated grows beyond anyone's reach. Tywin Lannister, prioritizing the dynasty above all else, might eventually decide his own grandson is a liability and orchestrate a quiet assassination to save the family name. Whether Joffrey rules or Tywin is forced to remove him, his survival triggers a violent internal struggle for control that would eventually fragment the Lannister family. While the Lannisters focus on political survival, an ancient, supernatural force marches relentlessly south, and the crown is looking the other way. Joffrey is uniquely unqualified to meet this threat. His arrogance makes him completely dismissive of anything happening outside his own court. He would likely mock the warnings from the Wall, execute the messengers as liars, and leave the North to face the Night King alone. With the Lannisters and Daenerys locked in a massive war for the Iron Throne, the geopolitical focus remains entirely in the South, while the true threat is ignored. Joffrey died at the exact moment Westeros still had a chance to recover, before his cruel impulses could become the official, systematic policy of the land. If he had lived, his survival would have kept the Lannisters in power, and the realm's eyes fixed on the throne just long enough to ensure everyone was eradicated by the long